Okay then. So, good afternoon. It's another weekend and I'm back out in the garden. Cooking myself up a cup of tea, of course. Wouldn't be right not to come out here and have a cup of tea. I thought that I'd come out and have a bit of a chat with you guys about some of the lessons learned from last weekend's camping adventure. Because I had a great time. But there were things which weren't perfect. And could be improved upon. And I've just spent a bit of time setting up and recording over here. Now, ain't it typical? It's been a fine day. People have been outside mowing lawns, knocking houses down, making noise. And I finally quietens down enough. I get out and it's starting to spit and rain on me, so my gear's getting wet. I've set up over there. It's always good at the end of any project, exercise, field trip, camping expedition, assault of the Himalayas, sleep over in your back garden, to do a bit of a lessons learned at the end, and work out what went well, what didn't go so well, and what needs to be improved on for next time. And there were several things that really went well. Hammock camping for the first time went really well. I had a better night's sleep than I was expecting to have. I slept late in the morning, in the middle of woodland, 10 to 7 in the morning when the sun has risen, is late in. One of the problems I had was at night, not surprisingly. And in here, this is a double liner bottom to this hammock. And inside the hammock, you can fit your sleeping mat that you would normally use for ground camping. And I made 2 mistakes on this. 2 simple mistakes. But mistakes are mistakes. One, when I first arrived at the site and I set up my hammock for the first time. And bear in mind, last weekend was the first time I'd ever hammock camped. And it was great. I loved every minute of it. It was an adventure, and even learning that, being out there for the first time in a hammock was part of the fun of it all. It was really good. Still puts a smile on my face today, so the job was well done. But I had heard that you could just slap your ground sheet in underneath, and they're talking about foam sheets and other types. This is a self-inflating type mat. I didn't think much of it, so I didn't even bother to let it self-inflate. I slapped it into underneath the hammock and I jumped on. And the early part of the evening was lovely and warm. Around 1 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and my back was a little, I won't say cold, chilled is the word. Like a good white wine. I was chilled. But it was sufficient. And I realised that one of the mistakes I made was I hadn't inflated the mat. So as soon as I inflated the mat, things improved. I was no longer as chilled. But as you can see, so I try and show it here. Hammock kind of forms a sort of like cocoon. Now, while they recommend that you kind of lie diagonally in here, and not straight front to back, because nobody's a banana is how I heard it referenced once. The bits that were now on top of the inflated mattress were nice and warm, but the bits which were touching the sides of the hammock weren't. Yeah, they were still cooled and chilled out. And it was okay. I was able to get through the night and I had a very comfortable night's sleep, and I slept in later than I planned. Yeah, which obviously meant I was sleeping rather heavily, decently. But it made me think, do I want to repeat that experience? And no, not really. So I did what I would do, and I'm a gear junkie, so I immediately went and ordered some more gear. Yeah, and the gear I've ordered, I'll come to this camera for this one. It's the DD under blanket. So this is the DD system anyway. Yeah. And all the under blanket is basically a quilt. Put this one down. It's a quilt that goes under the hammock. Now, I haven't fitted this before, so you're going to get to laugh at me. Yeah. And this is it. So it comes, and there are some cinching points here, and a bunch of clips. And these, I believe, are supposed to clip onto these side pieces. But that doesn't look like, it looks like it'll need cinching up a lot more than that. So maybe it clips elsewhere. Maybe it clips upwards. I think some research is needed. I'll be back. Okay, so back to it. There's 8 anchor points. Yeah. 2 of them go to this end. So these. Yeah. 2 of them go to the other end. Yeah. And then there are 2 on either side that go to this point here. Yeah. Now, they've supplied generous cords, so you can make this as tight or as loose fitting as you want. And then you've got these cinching devices underneath and at the sides. Yeah. So like that. So you can cinch this up nice and tight and make it snug. Now, I'm sure you can see the advantage of this over just having a mat underneath. Now, I've left the mat in. I should have taken it out. Yeah, don't have to, but there's no point in it being in there. Yeah, this now wraps up on both sides, up the sides. So the bits of me that were in here to here, that were touching the sides, yeah, and cool, now have a layer of insulation that isn't being compressed. So I had a very good sleeping bag with me, yeah, on the weekend. And that one's more than capable of going down to very cold temperatures. But like all down sleeping bags, the thermal properties come from the fact that the down fluffs up, and the bit you're lying on gets compressed, has no thermal properties, which is why you need a very good mat or some insulation between you and the air, yeah, that isn't getting compressed. And a hammock under blanket is the job. I can't wait to try it out. Apparently, you can take this under blanket to -5. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying something like that, but I'm going to have to wait until the end of the year now. That's good. And there was just one other thing I wanted to show you guys while I was out here. So I showed you briefly at the end that I had these sort of like toggle ropes. And this is what I do with my toggle ropes. Yeah. I form a prusik knot, yeah, and then I got the toggle on the end. Yeah. Same at the other end. And if I pull the tar over along the ridge line, yeah, you can see that I can tighten this up, and the self-locking attributes of the prusik knot keeps the ridge line tight. Marvellous. Yeah. And then, of course, you peg out down to ground stake, pull that up taut. As you can see, I prepped some of this. Yeah. And then pull tight. And that gives you the configuration you saw me in the forest. Yeah. Ridgeline should be a bit higher, but that's perfectly okay. Yeah. This is demonstration purposes. Or rather than the ridgeline but higher, the hammock lower. And I can adjust that easier. But the other thing I do with my little toggle ropes, is that I can do this at the end of the tarp. Yeah. So I just loop them back in on themselves, cinch it in through the other tarp anchor point, same up here. And this closes the tarp down a bit. So for the comment that I got about looks a bit drafty, in the bad weather, you can anchor yourself down, yeah, and get yourself all nice and tucked in and cosy. Maybe not as much as a tent, but yeah, this is all part of the adventure, isn't it? Yeah, part of having fun. So that went well. That obviously worked. But then, of course, there's always the things you forget. I covered it then. I'll cover it again. The damn pesky milk. For about 2 days beforehand, I was wandering around with it's flowing through my head. Don't forget to fill your milk. Take your milk. No more said. No more said. I forgot the milk, didn't I? Yes. So I had black tea. Having said that, it didn't work out quite as bad as I was expecting. Now, I don't know whether it was the tea, whether it was the water, whether it was the method of cooking. Okay, yeah, method of cooking, hot stove, camping, well, outside. Or whether it was the bit of being outside. But the black tea didn't taste so bad. Investigation is going to be needed on this, I think. I'm going to have to make a black tea. Not today. I've got milk with me, even though I'm in my back garden. But I'm going to have to do it. I'm going to have to do a black tea. And I'm going to have to taste it and test it and see whether it's as nice as it was in the field or whether it was just excitement being out dulled my taste buds enough that I couldn't taste the sharp bitterness of black tea. So, yeah, I haven't put... Or maybe I didn't brew it for long enough. Yeah, because I'm one of these people who likes to leave the tea back in. I like a good, strong cup of tea. And I haven't put the milk in yet, so I'll give it a quick test. Yeah. But I will have some milk today. Yeah. So give a quick test. Black tea, yeah, reasonably strongly brewed. Yeah, I could probably drink that. For those of you who are interested, we drink Yorkshire tea here in this household. Right? It's our favoured. So with that, with the rain that's now starting to really descend on me, I will catch you all later. I hope you've had a good week. I've had a busy week myself, but that's another story. It's mostly work's fault. It's always work's fault. It's never everybody else's fault. But no, have a great week, and I will see you next week. Ta-da.